Intuition, unease, and clarity. Welcome to the Epic Workout. I'm Alex Glesia, creator of the Epic Workout and Being Epic, and we're going to look at a position in your body right now that helps you cultivate your intuition, deal with your self-acceptance, self-appreciation, and your ability to receive attention from others. And we're going to look at the mobility and a few exercises you can do to create a whole practice, a whole workout, no matter how much strength training you want to do, or mobility or pain you may have. If you want to cultivate your intuition and your sense of clarity and self-appreciation, this will be a great experience for you. So the 4 parts we're going to play with is first starting with movement, then moving into mobility, a little bit of exercise, and finally a small deeper dive into what might be hiding and challenging to actually step into this way of being. The position from UZAZU is gateway. So we are, to create the hexagram of the 57, we're stepping back and bringing our attention more to self. And then we're getting more active, coming up and active, and opening wide to a wider sense of peripheral vision. So we've got this back, up, and wide position. Legs go wide too. It's very fractal, so everything is going in all 3 of these directions. Your tension in your body is going back, your tension in your body is coming up, and your tension in your body is going wide. So this is gateway. A little quick note, sometimes people go too far back or too far forward. Those are both different, they're different poses. And we're interested in the attention being over here, not in the world, for the 57. The first trigram, the bottom 3 lines are yin, yang, yang, and that makes the yin back, yang up, yang wide. The top trigram is also yin, yang, yang. So we're going to double this up, which takes a little bit of creative imagination. So we've got back, up, wide, and then we go a little bit more back, especially with our attention, and a little bit more up, especially with our attention, and a little bit more wide. Sometimes with hexagrams, we're changing poses because there's a bottom trigram and a top trigram, but in this case, they're the same. So we just deepen it. Now by itself, let's just look at the embodied story here. Attention is on self. There's an action, not a softening and a listen. So it's a bit more active. And so it's a bit more mental, and it's a bit more driven. And we're going wide, not narrow. So we're actually trying to open up our peripheral vision or our sense of perspective about something. In this case, it's about self. So you see how this is building a way of being, a state of being that is interested in self, self-appreciation, self-acceptance, noticing what it's like to feel and think about yourself. So the whole intention with the 57 around intuition is there's actually a self perspective to it. I don't want to go too much into the qualities of this. We're going to just start with the physicality. We'll come back to qualities and alignment at the end. So stick around to the end. So to come in and out of this pose a few times, relax it, let it go, and then step back, up, wide, settle into it. Make sure you can see your own hands. This helps to emphasize that there's a perspective, there's a mental perspective to this. And bend your knees so that you're actually able to move and make some change. Let it go. One more time, come into gateway, back, up, wide, and then deepen that. A little more, you can physically or more imaginally, a little bit more back, a little more up, and a little bit more wide. And then just keep in your mind and your awareness going back, more up, like you could grow taller and taller, more wide. Even if you don't take your arms wider, imagine you are expanding and taking up more and more space. If you yawn or emotions come up that you're aware of, it's part of the process. So take care of yourself and just know that shifts in your body are really common. Okay, let that go. You may have noticed that this is a pretty shoulder intense pose, and to do deeper work with it, we actually need to spend more time working with it. So let's mobilize your shoulders, and core is important. Not hyperextending or overextending your spine, but actually creating a bit of almost a neutral spine, almost a little bit of a yin flexion in your spine. So we're going to play with this for our mobility. To start off, take your arm, pick one arm, go out straight. The other arm is just going to be here gently to help you have some perspective and some attention on your shoulder so it doesn't elevate. What we're going to do are elbow circles, and it looks like this. You draw your arm towards your chin, it goes across like a little bit of a bicep curl, and all the way out. So we're doing this really massive internal and external rotation at the shoulder. This is why you want to gently keep it down so that your shoulder is in alignment with its socket. Make the move and make it smooth. If it's not smooth, if it clicks, slow it down. So the way you improve this is by slowing it down and paying more and more attention. We don't need to strength train this or speed train this right now. Next, take that arm and point it out 30 degrees, 40 degrees, about halfway as wide as you could go. And then elbow circles again. So this is physically helpful for your elbow joint to free up the tissues and tendons that are going to let your elbow bend and flex. And there is some rotation in your elbow, not a whole lot, but there's some. There needs to be some give. And then at the shoulder, noticing, are you getting a full range of motion? Is he getting tired already? Maybe. So go light. Last move, take it out. Now, if you go all the way out and you start to feel stretched, that's too far. So we're going gentle. It's something like, this would be as if I were at a wall, and here is a bit forward. I can see my arm, see my hand in my peripheral vision. So that's about the distance. And one more time, elbow circles. Now that you got the idea, we'll go through the other side with a little less teaching. So first, give it a shape. Keep being aware of yourself. One big intention the entire time we're doing this practice right now is intuition. And the mechanics of that is self-appreciation, self-acceptance. So keep paying attention to that layer of your awareness. So other arm out, elbow circles. Now these elbow circles, I first learned them in about 2008 from a modality or a whole body work called Z Health, which is very, very interested in our nervous system and using our nervous system to reduce pain and improve strength. So good stuff, Z Health. Take your arm out about a third or half of the way. Notice how your neck feels. Relax the shoulder down or even lightly depress it. How's this side feel compared to the first? The elbow, the movement, and not just your range of motion, but it's like your control. Like for me, the control is a lot wonkier on this side. And that's something to pay attention to and slow down. And get your breathing so that your whole body feels like it's participating and you're not like this disconnected shoulder. All the way out. Remember, all the way out is you can still see your arm. And there you go. How's this feel? Are you breathing? Okay, relax. Now in Gateway, we've also got width, and we can play with width. It's sort of like how much space can you take up and still feel good about yourself. And in this position, we're really, like what's going to stop us from intuition, what's going to create that unease is, because of this position, a lack of self-appreciation, a lack of self-acceptance, and all the reasons in your nervous system or in your mind that might be a challenge. So when we go wide, it's sort of like including more and more and more of you, which is a very evolutionary way of thinking. Transcend and include more parts of you, more of your strengths and your talents. So we go wider, and we need hip adduction in our hips. So take your feet wide and just bend your knees a bit, sit back a bit, and then stand up. So it's a mini squat with your hips and legs wide. Squat and back up. So do the movement, but notice your control and notice how it feels. And if there's any tension, excessive tension, or clicks or anything in your hips or your knees, then make it a little bit smaller. Relax your core, but keep a little bit of tension. So you're not going to fall over if someone gave you a little bit of a push, and modify this for you. Now this will come in handy and be helpful for our exercise. There's really one exercise movement that we're going to put together that integrates a bit of a squat with wide legs, wide hips, with our arms and shoulders. So we're going to be stressing these positions, and it's a very good core move, and it's a very good functional move today. We're very functional. With intuition, we want to be functional in the world, not just mental. So bringing the body into it is helpful. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Okay, our third and final mobility move is really for the spine, and it is we're going to do two ways. First way is to just roll down a little bit to create some spinal flexion. It's not a fold forward, you're just finding some spinal flexion. And then roll up, let your shoulders come back, create some spinal extension. That's the first version of this move. A slight roll down, bend your knees, bend your hips, and a slight roll up and back. So first, just notice, how does that feel for you? Make it small enough that it feels good and you're able to stay present with it. How do you know if you're present with it? Well, one way is your breathing. You stop your breathing or your partial breathing, and you might not be fully present and feeling fully safe in the movement pattern. Now, in case you weren't bringing your knees and hips into it, do that now. So with the flexion, you're bending and dropping into a soft, your body's catching you softly, and then you roll back up, extending through the knees and hips, a little bit of spinal extension. So basically making the move a little bit more full body. Give that a go. The last part of this is to add the shoulders. Here we go. And this time right now, they can go back. So feel free to explore your range of motion to see how far they can go back. Don't practice through any pinching, and we're not going fast either. Now your range of motion with this could be really big and really far back, and that's fine. Or it might just be right here, like you're being held up. Not a good example. So you can roll all the way down and roll all the way up. So these last few moments, explore what is the full range of motion that you've got available today. Last one. Great. Now I said that was one version of it. The second version of it is to take one arm and go across the leg or across the body, maybe touch the thigh or the knee, and then come up and out so that we are adding actually some rotation to this. So a little bit of rotation across. It's not a big twist. It's just you're touching the opposite knee, so you're getting some rotation. You open up and look at that hinge. So keep your attention on the arm right now. And then back down and back up. Just like before, find your sweet spot for your range of motion. It might be you barely touch your hip and then you open up, and it might be you can come all the way down to the foot and all the way back and bend. Find what feels strong and good and repeatable. We'll do just three reps. Then switch sides. Start small. Explore this range because you, like me, might have some scoliosis or something else going on that restricts one side more than the other. So honor this side as it is, and it doesn't need to be like the other side. But do find out where's your range of motion. Do 3 final reps. That move is all about getting some rotation into your spine while you're doing your extension and your flexion. So it becomes much more functional, very helpful. Now for the exercise part of today, we're doing one move, but a few variations. Now I've got a dumbbell and it's 5 pounds. So if you have had a weight and those last moves felt really good, feel free to grab a weight. If you don't, then you're going to create some challenge and some strength and some functional stresses for yourself simply by playing with the speed of the movement. Our move is to reach down and reach up. Pretty simple. Can you see we're right back to our gateway pose. So small reach down, small reach up and back. The elbow doesn't need to go straight overhead. We're not going into a handstand position. It's much more of a functional. Where does the arm go functionally? And then back down. If you feel some clicks, if this feels uncomfortable, not just a good exercise challenge, then go back to no weights or slow the thing down. If you're not using weights and this feels really good, really easy, and you want some more challenge, start to pick up the pace and control it, because that control actually is a resistance in your nervous system learning a lot, and that creates internal strength and integrity. If you got 2 dumbbells, similarly, and this will be our last round, open it up, bring it down. And you can increase the weight, the speed, and the range of motion. You can play with that. So if you want more, time, you want more reps right now, then pause the video and do as many as you want. I'm gonna do 3 more. And then let that go. That's our workout. Our last piece for today is to come back to gateway, to deepen into the unease, to explore that and make some room for that, to open ourselves up for what is intuition for you right now, and even allowing some clarity to bubble in. We'll be using some questions around self-appreciation and self-acceptance to help us get there and blend in the UZAZU and the Gene Keys words, labels into our embodiment. So, little spoiler warning, you may feel some challenging emotions as we do this. It's going to be light, it's just going to be a few minutes, but it will wake things up. So, if you're going to do this right now with me, make sure you go all the way to the end of the 3 to 5 minutes with me so we can close it together and feel good, solid, and contained by the time we're done, okay? So take a breath and shake your body out. Thanks for being epic and participating in this epic workout to find the synergy and alignment of your potential and today your intuition. Here we go. Pulling back and bringing your awareness to yourself. Coming up with action, with choice. Pause here for a moment and just reflect on being a choice with yourself and all the choices that you've made in your life, which is a lot. Your ability, recognize your ability to attend to yourself and make important choices. And then gently go wider. And feel as you go wide. Feel as you go wide. Is there any resistance? What's the quality of going wide? Have your eyes open and let yourself see your own arms reflecting attention back to you. So in this position to now feel like you're continually going back more and more into self. Imagine growing taller, more and more able to act from self, and a little bit wider and wider, being able to hold and perceive more and more without shutting down. So 2 questions. What don't you accept about yourself that causes some unease and keeps you from your intuition? Let go of the physical pose, and then we'll come back into it, back up and wide. So what don't you, maybe still now after all your years of growth and maturity, do you not accept about yourself today? It causes and creates unease. It keeps you from more intuition, more self-agency, and more including of you. Let go of the pose. One more time. Build it back up. Back. Up. Wide. And where could you appreciate yourself more? To heal or to include and embrace the unease, the experiences that give rise to more intuition and bubble up more clarity for yourself and others. Take these last few moments to adjust the position or move in a way that feels more generative. You're not going to leave the position, but it's like, how do you want to play with this? Go a little wider, a little more back. Find your sweet spot and dance with it just a bit. These last few moments of making this yours and owning your power with intuition and self-appreciation and self-acceptance. Because it's easy to go too far and to get narcissistic or arrogant, and it's also easy to not go there and feel more shame or have reasons not to, to be sort of falsely humble. Find your sweet spot. Finally, let it go. Shake your body out. So know that you strengthened your body and your nervous system to be more mobile in a way that is functional, in a way that has integrity. 2, you've woken up. You've woken up some areas and maybe unhidden some areas in your life and your experience that you need to look at in terms of self-appreciation, acceptance, and where you're still tolerating unease instead of embracing what needs to be embraced and opening yourself up to more knowing and trust and intuition. And maybe you have just opened things up and you're feeling fantastic. And no matter where you're at, keep playing with this for today. I suggest you keep playing with this over the next few days so that you get more and more layers of awareness and intuition and clarity and self-appreciation, and you really be in this field of exploring your self-appreciation, your intuition, and your depth in yourself with your action. So thanks for being epic. If you have any questions, let me know at alex@alexiglesia.com. Right here and here, there ought to be some more videos you can play with, other hexagrams, other epic workouts, other movement patterns. And if you've got any desire to explore creating embodiment for yourself or for anything that you're going through in your life or your goals and your aims, then do reach out for a complimentary consultation. Bye for now.